Welcome to this week's astrology and human design transit update. So, we are reaching the point of the second eclipse in this eclipse season. And so, this is the transits for the week of August 24th until August 30th. This is the second eclipse of this eclipse season. So, we had our new moon solar eclipse about 2 weeks ago. And now we have our lunar eclipse, our partial lunar eclipse, that is happening in Pisces. So anytime we have an eclipse, it is when the moon is in conjunction with the sun, in conjunction with the north node, and it's within like a 10-degree orb. So the actual nodes right now are happening at 29 degrees of Aquarius, and the eclipse is going to be at 4 degrees of Pisces. So it's within a 10-degree orb in conjunction because the eclipses move backwards. So the eclipse is at 29 degrees of Aquarius, 29 degrees of Leo. And the eclipse is, again, the full moon. The moon is going to be at 4 degrees and 54 minutes of Pisces. And the sun is at 4 degrees and 54 minutes of Virgo. So much I've been moving through this past week, and I have sessions coming up this coming week for the destiny reading. And what's really beautiful about this is that it's always so synchronistic when people are moving through something that mirrors either yourself as an astrologer, mirrors the collective, and this is like no different. And so it's always so fun when you're diving into charts, and they may come from completely different walks of life. They may have different charts. They may have so many differences, and yet there's a certain transit or a certain aspect, or they're moving through something very similar. And so, so many people that I've been in conversation with are moving through something, right? Whether it's feelings of confusion around what their purpose is, which is why I created the destiny reading, because this really focuses on Pluto, the nodes, your incarnation cross, kind of like what your soul is here to do, to be on purpose, and kind of moving towards that and remembering that. And yeah, this is like just really, really reflective of that. And so it's very cool to witness. And, this eclipse season is really potent for so many reasons, but we're really being asked, especially with this North Node eclipse, to really pay attention to the things that are coming into your life right now. What are the things, whether they are significant, seemingly significant or not, that are coming into your life, right? It could be somebody, it could be something, it could be an event, it could be an opportunity, it could be, I don't know, a thought. Like, they're just really paying attention to the things that are coming up for you at this time. So we will get into the astrology of the week. There's not a ton, like the transits that are happening are only happening for a few days this week. So we do have like some pauses, but the things that are happening are pretty significant. So it may feel like we have a break or whatever, but the whole week is basically defined by the transits that are happening. So this eclipse, we have Uranus activations, we have a Cazimi happening, and it's powerful, potent, powerful. I've really, really been leaning into the work, really paying attention to my body, especially as today, as I'm recording this, the sun is moving into Virgo and may have already done it. Let me double check on the time, 9:18 p.m. So no, it hasn't quite done it yet, but it will be doing it tonight. And so if you are listening to this before 9 p.m. on Sunday, so I usually try and get it out about between 5 and 7 p.m. Sunday. But if you're listening to this before 9 p.m. on Sunday, the Soul Care Bundle is closing at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sunday evening. And this has been a week-long offer. It's really, really beautiful. You get your choice of one of 3 readings. The Destiny reading by myself is one of them. There's like 12 plus courses in here. There's a Jupiter course. There's a Rage Ritual. There's a 3-month membership to an astrology program. There's astrocartography in here. There's like so much magic. And the healers, astrologers, human design readers that are included in this bundle are incredible. So if you haven't grabbed it and you want to, this is a perfect time to do it. it again. The doors close at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sunday, August 23rd. So if you're listening to this before then and you want to get in, just head down, click that link, go grab it. It is so good, so powerful, so abundant. I don't know, that word is just coming to me, like offering of so much abundance. And there's so much going on that is really supporting that. Okay, so let's talk the transits. So there's nothing happening on Monday, which doesn't mean that there's nothing happening, but there's nothing active, new transits happening on Monday. Tuesday, the 25th, we have the moon moving into Aquarius at 4:01 a.m. Central Standard Time. So just checking your chart where Aquarius is, what's the work doing, what is the work that you can be doing to work with the moon as it's moving through it. The moon moves really quickly, so it's going to brush up against Pluto. It's going to brush up against the North Node. So you might feel intensity during short periods of time as the moon navigates, because again, the moon moves pretty quickly. And then at 4:04 a.m., Mercury in Leo is opposite the North Node in Aquarius at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. So this is wrapping up a cycle, right? Anything at an anaretic degree is like kind of closing a cycle. So Mercury has been moving through Leo. Mercury is creative. Mercury is abundant. Well, it was abundant when it moved over Jupiter, but Mercury in Leo is bold, it's dramatic, it's creative, it's expressive, it's childlike, it's inner child work, it's what we're thinking about, it's what we're focusing on, it's how we're communicating, it's how we're perceiving life, right? So really, hopefully having utilized this a little bit for some sort of creative endeavors, because as we're navigating just the times in general, I think that being self-expressed, this is so important with just the South Node being in Leo, right? Moving away from old identities. That was what the new moon in Leo was kind of about, was letting go of those old identities and more moving into win-win situations for the whole, future-oriented, humanitarian efforts, just really focusing on the collective, the tribe, things like that. But with Mercury having moved through Leo, again, like being really creative, doing that inner child work so that we can step into that, future oriented, the path collectively that we are moving towards. And so really being able to do that work and coming inside and doing the work is so, so powerful, to just reparent your inner child, know that you're safe, kind of doing that work. So that's really important. Mercury opposite the North Node means it's conjunct the South Node. So again, South nodes are themes to integrate, to leave behind, to let go, so that we can move more into and embody more that energy of the North Node. So again, communication, be aware of dramatizing things, because Mercury and Leo can be a little bit dramatic, right? So we don't want to like over dramatize things, because remember what we speak, this is why I've said it before, Mercury is one of the most powerful planets in your astrology chart, because the way you think, the way you perceive, the way your mind works creates your reality. So what are you speaking into existence? I don't know if I said it on the podcast last week or if I just put it in the newsletter, but I was watching a reel and he was talking about future, what like the definition of the future, of the word future, right? And it's like the moment after the spoken or written word. This is like Mercury, right? Mercury is creating through our words, through our thoughts, our reality. And so there's so much talks about the quality of our words, the quality of our mind. I mean, yoga, right, is about transcending the attachment to the material and kind of like elevating our consciousness, finding that place of enlightenment. But when we speak certain things, when we create reality out of certain situations and experiences and what we think, right? Like there's so much about yoga, like the Yoga Sutras has a huge portion about controlling the mind to control your experiences, to control your life, to change your life, right? So really being aware of that as that's kind of navigating. This is again, Tuesday, the 25th. And then after that at 6:04 a.m., Mercury moves into Virgo, where it is a ruler of. So Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. And this is more analytical. This is more perfectionistic, right? It's really using the mind in a way that is focused on the body, health. The bigger picture of Virgo is to perfect the self, to then enter into Libra, to enter relationships as a perfected version of self, right? So be aware of being overly judgmental being overly harsh on yourself, right? Like we're not here to beat ourselves up. We're here to like really take an honest assessment of our life, right? Like I love Virgo season because it gives us an opportunity to like be really clear, like what direction do I want to head into? Where do I want to go? How is my actual life supporting me in that? Right? Clean a room, clean a space. We got our new car last month, and we've been keeping it so clean, and it feels so good to like get into a clean car and like washing it every week, vacuuming it every week, because like when we aren't doing those things, then it builds up, and then you don't realize how messy something is until you gain perspective and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so bad, right? And our external reality really, like, if you it's a mirror of what's happening internally. So taking an honest assessment, like this is such a good time, like clean up your diet, like clean up your diet, clean up your routines, move, get to the gym or get outside, just move your body. Like this is so much about the body, your gut health, all of these things. So really leaning into that. And then at 1:57 p.m., also on the 25th, Mercury in Virgo is going to be trine to Chiron in Taurus. Chiron is retrograde in Taurus. Again, this is so much about the body. This is changing our relationship with our body, with the wounds we hold around our body. This is changing our relationship with money, with our senses, with others, right? This is very like relationship, finance, body, right? It's all connected, like love and money energetically, right? So we're cleaning up our frequency to elevate our frequency to get to a point where we feel good in our body and in our life around us. Nothing on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have the North Node eclipse, lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse in Pisces. So again, this is happening at 11:18 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is happening at 4 degrees and 54 minutes of Pisces in gate 55. Our South Node eclipse, which happened a couple weeks ago in Leo, was about releasing energy, releasing identities, releasing things that don't serve us. It's integration as well, because anytime there's a polarity, we don't just want to like let go or resist or like kick it out, right? Like we want to integrate it so that we can create acceptance, but we want to create space to move more towards that North Node energy, towards, that. So North Node eclipses are power surges, right? So Judith Hill has a book on eclipses and she talks about that. It's like the South Node is where energy is leaving, it's exiting. North Node is where energy is coming in. So this is a power surge. So checking in your chart where Pisces is and the work that you're doing around it. North Node eclipses tend to be a little bit more lucky, right? They tend to be a little bit more optimistic, I guess we could use that word. But this is opportunities, experiences, again, really, really, especially around a North Node eclipse, really paying attention to the things, the people, the opportunities, the experience, the things that are coming into your life at this point, right? This is Pisces. So this is super emotional. So this is like amplifying a full moon times 10, right? This is really making it big. So this could be a very emotional time for us because, again, this is Pisces. Beware of substance abuse substance abuse, substance use, mind altering substances that can be a lot of things, right? That could even be alcohol. It could be psychedelic drugs. It could be mental health drugs, right? So just be really aware if you're using these things, if you're on these things, that this is being amplified. The energy of this is being amplified by this full moon. So full moons are illumination, right? This is when we can see the moon fully in the sky. Anytime we have an eclipse, we are eclipsing the light in some way. So a North Node lunar eclipse is when we have the sun. The earth is in between the path of the sun's light and the moon. So this is a partial lunar eclipse. So it's not fully eclipsed. So partially, the moon will be partially eclipsed by the earth. And so the way that a full moon traditionally operates will be a little bit dimmed because we're eclipsing the light, right? And so we might feel confused, right? This is also Pisces. So this is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So this could be abundance. This is lucky, again, that kind of energy, but it's also a little confusion, delusion. Now we have some duality, which we always have duality because we have a Sun, Mercury, Cazimi the same day as this eclipse. This is what they call I forgot the word. Let me see. I think I wrote it down. Maybe I did not write it down. Superior conjunction. That's what it's called. The word completely escaped me. When we have a Cazimi, a Sun, Mercury Cazimi outside of a retrograde cycle, so Mercury is direct, this is called a superior conjunction. So this is amplifying things. This is creating a lot of clarity, like where am I headed? Like anything maybe that was coming up during the retrograde, now we really have a lot of clarity. Again, twofold, because now we're in a North Node in Pisces, partial lunar eclipse, which is confusing, right? So on the one, so they could be like counteracting each other here, because on the one side we have confusion, on the other side we have clarity. So we're somewhere in the middle of this, right? So just like being hyper aware of when that happens, that Cazimi is happening at 12:03 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's at gate 59 in human design. This is the gate of sexuality. This is the gate of intimacy. This is held in the sacral center, so it is very much about sexuality. And 59-6 is a really, really powerful channel in human design. But this is just gate 59, that the sun is in gate 59, conjunct Mercury, and the moon during this eclipse is in gate 55, which is the gate of the spirit of the self. So we're learning something about our spirit, evolving our spirit. This is the emotional experience so that we can learn something about ourselves. So really during this time when we might have heightened emotions, right? Again, full moons typically want to illuminate things. And yet we have this eclipse, this partial eclipse that is creating some shadow, creating some confusion. But then we have the Cazimi, which is bringing clarity. And so it could feel a little bit confusing, right? We might have pockets of being clear. We might have pockets of being really confused. So just being aware of that, right? Really, again, noticing what's coming up, who's coming up, what's coming into your life, things like that. Again, Pisces. This is opening a pathway, again, because this is a power surge. So wherever Pisces is in your chart, we're opening up to the soul. We're opening up to spirit. We're opening up to all those things. Spirituality. This could also have to do with prisons, mental health workers, psychologists, psychiatrists, your physical health, because this is also Virgo, right? This is a full moon. So we have the moon in Pisces and the sun is in Virgo. So moon, healthcare workers, like moon, health, body, health, work, day-to-day work, healthcare, like healthcare workers, mental health, all of those things could be coming up. This is also so much about the subconscious mind. This is about surrendering to the subconscious, surrendering to the flow of life, surrendering to your emotions, not getting wrapped up in them, but allowing yourself to move through them. So again, if you can stay away from mind-altering substances, that could even just be alcohol. I know that when I drink, I get a little bit more emotional. And so like definitely during times like this, I do my best to stay sober, because as somebody who is traditionally a very emotional person, this is just like really opening myself up to that energy, right? So that is happening on the 27th. And then on the 28th, Friday the 28th, we have Mercury at 2:24 a.m. Central Standard Time, square to Uranus. And then at 5:18 p.m., the sun and Virgo is square to Uranus as well. Mercury and the sun were just in a Cazimi, so they're going to be brushing up to Uranus. Uranus is unpredictable, right? This is changing the way that we perceive things, changing the way that we see things. Mercury is a ruler of Gemini. So when Mercury is in a square here, it's really amplifying what's going on in our mind, really with the nervous system. So really, really work to stay grounded if you can. Do yoga, move your body, do Pilates, get outside, take a walk if it's not like 110 degrees where you're at, right? Because this is so much about the nervous system. It's so much about being in the body. Like, how can we be embodied and grounded in our own body? Because again, Uranus is the great awakener, but it's very unpredictable. Unpredictable. It's electrifying. It's all those things. And then the sun. So the sun is going to be shining a light on this, really illuminating it, really amplifying it. All of these themes of Uranus and Gemini. And then, so the sun and Mercury are in gate 59, which we talked about, the gate of sexuality, the gate of intimacy. The shadow is dishonesty, the gift is intimacy, and the city here is transparency. I've been studying yoga, and yoga talks about the city as well. And, the city is like the highest expression of something, the highest frequency of something. But from a yogic lens, when they speak about the city, they actually say that it is great to like experience the city, but it almost hinders us in a way, because if the ego attaches to sort of those gifts, right? Like the magical gifts of the city, then we're still an ego. And so by the time we transcend that, we don't need any of it, right? So whenever I, talk about the gene keys, or I have a session and we're moving through the gene keys, I don't really focus on the city that much, because I feel like most of us are kind of working to get to the gift. But again, like being aware of getting caught in the ego when it comes to that frequency, right? So, okay. So, and then Uranus is in gate 20, the gate of now. So intimacy, being in the moment now, rolling with the changes, even if something is unpredictable, even if something is disruptive, even if something is shocking our system, like how can we still be in intimate relationship with ourselves, with our partner, with others, like just being in so embodied, like we kind of talked about, is really, really important. So that's that. And then, then the only other thing that we have is Saturday, the 29th, the moon moves into Aries. So just checking your chart where Aries is, doing the work that's in there. The sun throughout the whole week, the sun starts in gate 59, which I feel like we've talked about. We've covered gate 59, sexuality. It's in the sacral center. So it's about life force energy, workforce energy. It's about relationships, fertility rather. And then it moves into gate 40, which is a gate of aloneness, or I've even read it as the gate of loneliness, which are two very different things, right? We're not necessarily alone. We're not necessarily lonely when we're alone, right? And I think the goal is to be alone and not to be lonely. And we can be in a room of people, very much not alone, and feel lonely. So just really interesting thing to note about this gate. But gate 40 is in the heart center, in the ego center. So this is about resources. This is about self-worth. This is about money, right? This is about, being consistent, managing our resources, and sharing them with the tribe, because this channel, gate 40 and 37, which connects the ego to the emotional solar plexus, is about it's a tribal channel. So it's about sharing resources. The shadow here is aloneness. The gift is exhaustion. The shadow is exhaustion. The gift is resolve. And the city here is divine will. So this is literally, I don't know exactly where it came from. It probably came from the gene keys, but it says this is a direct route to the divine. And that's so much of what the Pisces Virgo axis is, right? So this is kind of like wrapping up the nodal story with Pisces and Virgo. The nodes, again, are in Aquarius and Leo now, but this is that energy. And so, so the sun is in gate 40 through the end of the week. And that's the gate of aloneness. Beware of depleting your resources. So that is the energy of this week. Again, just a couple days, but it is packed energetically. There's a lot going on. So if you journal, it's been really interesting, because I have been having such symbolic and vivid dreams, and I only have been remembering them for the few minutes that I open my eyes in the morning. And then when I go to journal them, it's gone. I have the feeling of it, and it's like I'm so aware of like what the dream was. But the dream itself, like I have no recollection of it. But when I wake up, I can feel the symbolism. I feel the meaning. I feel like my soul was in a whole other world, and I'm coming back to this one and I'm not remembering it. So that's that confusion, right? A little bit of Pisces energy. So again, pay attention to your dreams, journal them if you can, be aware of what's coming into your life, what's happening, what opportunities, what experiences. And I will be doing that work too. And I'll be back a little later in the week to talk more about it. So follow me on Instagram at Rochelle.Christian. TikTok is the same. The Substack is Rochelle.Christian or Rochelle Christian. YouTube, sign up for the newsletter. I send out an email with transit updates every single week, but then I send out with specific transits. things that are happening, things that are on my heart. So go ahead and follow that. All of the links you need are in the show notes. So take what you need. Share this episode with a friend if you found it helpful, if you found it supportive. Thank you so much for being here and for listening. I'll talk to you soon.